Louisiana is making progress with its vaccine rollout. According to the CDC COVID Data Tracker, almost 130,000 Louisianians have so far gotten the first part of the vaccine. Numbers are constantly changing, though, so what is the latest? Here's Jade Cunningham.
As people line up to get vaccinated against COVID-19, the rollout in Louisiana could start picking up speed. Distribution sites in 13 parishes were recently added, marking the first time those eligible in all 64 parishes are able to get their first dose. The news comes as pharmacies, hospitals, and other healthcare sites anxiously await their next weekly shipment. According to the Louisiana Department of Health, that could come any day. For pharmacies, that means another 100 doses, which would be available to anyone who falls under Phase 1B Tier 1. That includes those 70 and up, patients on dialysis, and dental providers and staff. Ochsner Healthcare System released their latest numbers Monday, showing more than 57,000 doses had been given to employees, healthcare providers, and citizens statewide. That includes more than 22,000 vaccinations that were given last weekend. At LCMC, more than 10,000 vaccines have so far been administered. More than 2,300 of those have gone to Phase 1B patients since January 4th. With more locations statewide helping with vaccine distribution, officials are doing what they can to keep up with demand, but so far are having to take it week by week. Jay Cunningham, Eyewitness News.
The Louisiana Department of Health will have more vaccine updates for us tomorrow. Also, no timeline has been given on when the next part of Phase 1B will activate. That includes essential workers like teachers, grocery, and daycare workers.